everybody. Welcome back to the STEM Inspired podcast, where we highlight the voices of bold innovators who are breaking barriers in STEM. I'm your host, Dr. Mia, and today we're diving into the fascinating world of forensic science with someone who's not only transforming crime labs, but also your TikTok feed. So let's meet Keshonna Towns. She's a scientist, she's a content creator, and an advocate for representation in STEM. So, from overcoming the challenges of being a Black woman in a traditionally exclusive field to making forensic science accessible and fun for thousands of viewers online, Keshonna is redefining what it means to show up in science with purpose and passion. So, if you've ever been curious about the world of forensics, how to thrive as a STEM content creator, or how one voice can empower an entire community, this episode is just for you. So, let's give it up for Miss Keshonna. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. I really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
Absolutely. And y'all, I know I've actually met her through TikTok, y'all. So if you're not on TikTok, get on there. So I know I gave like a brief intro just on the surface about you, but a lot of our listeners don't really know you as well. So can you give them a brief introduction of yourself, both professionally and personally?
Yes. So, hi, everybody. My name is Keshonna Towns. I'm 23. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, but I now live in Houston, Texas. I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry. I got my master's degree in forensic science. And I'm currently a crime lab technician at a crime lab in Houston.
Yes, we love to see it. I was saying on the last episode, like the reason why I got into STEM or was interested in science as a kid is from like the crime scenes and
Yeah.
crime labs. I said, "Oh, I want to do forensic science," and then I changed my mind. I said, "Oh, I ain't built for that one right there."
See, I seen it and I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that.
See, all power to you. I commend you for it. We need more Black women in that field. So I'm so happy that you pursued that. So what sparked your interest in forensics? So how did you pursue it academically and why?
Yes. So it was really like you said, the crime shows, and I would always read like those mystery and crime scene books. And I'm like, yeah, let me okay. But I feel like you only ever hear about like forensic pathology. So I was like, okay, that must be what forensics is. Everything must be pathology. I didn't know that there was like a lot of different disciplines. So in my head, I would just say, oh, I want to do forensic pathology, not really knowing. I found out you had to go to med school for that. I said, actually, I don't want to do forensic pathology, but like if there's other fields of it, then I'll still look into it. And when I was a junior in high school, I had a high school what's it called, an honors chemistry class. And my teacher there, she was actually the teacher of forensic science too. You had to be a senior to take it. But I was like, oh, so if I major in chemistry, I can like do forensic science. She's like, yeah, like that's a whole field of it. I'm like, I'm gonna keep that in mind. I was like, you know what? It's sealed. I'm good at chemistry. I was like, nobody else likes this, but I like it because if nobody else is good at it, then I would be good at it.
I
It
know
was
that's right.
yeah, it was literally it was like, well, if nobody else likes it, I was like, this isn't that bad. Why are y'all it's like, why is everybody making it seem so hard? And it was because then I took AP chemistry the next year, and I was like, it's hard, but it's doable. Like it can be done. It's not, you'll have to work for it a little bit. But so yeah, I did that. I found a school that had a major in chemistry, but it was like a forensics track. We
Hmm.
didn't really have any forensics related classes at all. It was more so just major in chemistry with like a minor in criminal justice. So from there, I kind of realized I was like, okay, I still haven't really got that forensics aspect. Like, yes, I have the chemistry, I have the entire chemistry background now. So kind of like right before my senior year or right before the semester that I graduated, I did an internship And when I was at the internship, it was like, it was just that summer. I spent the entire summer kind of figuring out what I needed to do, like what grad school I needed to go to get a degree in forensic science. Cause I was like, I have the chemistry, but I want to niche, like I want to focus on forensics. So let's figure out how to get there. And that summer I made a list of all the different schools, all the different requirements that you needed, which ones had a master's program, which one had a PhD program. And yeah, I applied to I think 3 different master's programs and I got accepted to all 3 of them. I was like, Sam Houston it is. I was like, that was my number one choice. So when I got that, I was like, yep, gone. You ain't got to tell me twice.
Uh-huh, yes. Ain't nothing like getting that acceptance letter through your
Yes.
email now. They don't do paper acceptances anymore. They do it through the email.
Yes. What was I was actually, it's funny because I was visiting a friend in Texas when I had got the email. So, Sam Houston's in Texas. So it's funny. It's kind of ironic that I was in Texas at the time that I got it. Like I was on the road for 13 hours. And
Mm.
the second that I parked, the email came through. I was like, oh, that's crazy. I was so excited.
That means it was destined for you. Okay.
Yes.
And I think too, it's good to see you kind of destigmatizing about how difficult chemistry is because it's challenging, but it's good to see people like you and know that it is doable. Challenging but
Yes.
doable. And so, can you share some of the challenges that you face as a Black woman in the forensics field? I mean, it's not a lot of Black people in that field,
Yeah.
regardless, any STEM field to be exact. But how did you overcome that with that being a very unique experience?
It was, it's been hard, but at the same time, it's like one of those feelings that you get when people like see you and they're like, I've never seen anybody that looks like me do it. Like that pushes me to go harder. I've gotten those comments so much on TikTok where people are like, I've never seen anybody that looks like me actually want to pursue this. Or like, I've never seen anybody that talks like me. Like that was my thing was I wanted somebody. There was so many times that I looked and I was wanting to find somebody that looked like me or that talked like me or that acted like me, be in the field, but I didn't see anybody. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it then, and you'll meet people in there along the way that's interested in it. Like for example, when I got to grad school, I wasn't the only one in my cohort that was Black. We had it was maybe 4 out of 17 of us, 4 or 5 out of 7, 4 7 out of the 17, and you kind of like y'all gravitate toward each other, y'all come together because everybody else is already like formed, like they all talk to each other differently than it comes with how it comes to talking to how everybody else talks to each other, and you start to realize that and not
Real quick.
yeah, you pick up on that pretty fast. It's like, all right, well, and you kind of, I noticed myself like my first year, I just kind of shied, like I'll just stay to myself. I studied by myself until like other people started gravitating towards me because it's like they don't really expect you to be as smart or expect you to know certain things, and 9 times out of 10 you might be doing the best in the class and just nobody knows. And not only that, but I will say I did my internship at Houston Forensic Science Center, and 2 of the people that interviewed me, one of them she was head of research and development, and the other one she was like in charge of our supervisor for the interns. They were both Black women. I was like, oh,
Period.
that was crazy for me to like open up the Zoom link and see 2 people that looked like me. I was like, that's crazy. And not only
Mm-hmm.
that, but even going to the internship, it was like you start to see people. So it's nice to know that once you actually get in the field, now it's not saying everybody there, but you won't be alone. And that's the point. You'll find there will be people there that look like you. And if not, then you'll be that familiar face that when somebody else that looks like you gets hired, they're like, oh, okay.
Yes, it's such a I guess like a sigh of relief. You're like, oh
Yeah.
my goodness, yes.
Yes.
Hey, so glad you're here.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So what inspired you to create educational content on TikTok? I mean, I was scrolling and I happened to come across you on my, what is it, For You page.
Yeah.
Yeah, you came across my For You page, and I was really intrigued by it. I said, wow, I like how relatable it is. Like, you're mixing a lot of your forensic science stuff plus, retwisting your hair on a Sunday. Like, so what inspired you to do
It
this?
honestly, it's funny because I used to joke about like when TikTok first came out. First of all, I was that person that did not want to get TikTok for real, but then eventually I got it. Like everybody, you make the little dance videos and everything. That don't go nowhere. That don't go nowhere. Although I did have one video that like went viral with my mom when we were dancing. And so she always said, she's like, that's where your TikTok career started. And I'm like, okay, girl. She's like, I'm the real star of the show. But that kind of like started my platform where like after that video, I ended up having like maybe 5,000 followers. And once you're not starting from ground zero, you start to feel like, okay, maybe this is something that I can do. And I didn't start making like forensic science content until the second week of grad school. And I kind of did it it was like a way of holding myself accountable. And I think I had seen a trend where people were like posting their career, what they was in school for. And I was like, I'm gonna make my own forensics. Like, I haven't seen that. And in forensics, we do a lot of different like labs, especially in grad school. And so I think we did like a fingerprinting lab, breaking glass lab for like glass reconstruction. It was like all different types of things. I was like, I'm gonna put all this in a video. I'm gonna post it. And it's funny because I posted it. You don't think nothing of it. No, you post a video, you don't expect it to go viral for real. I went to sleep. I woke up, it was at like 50,000 views. I was like,
What?
wait, did I just? I was like, wait. And next thing you know, it ended up blowing up. Like, I remember hitting 1 million views in like a week. And I was like, wait, people are like commenting and they're like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anybody that looks like me do this. Oh my gosh, I'm so like, please post more, please post more. And I'm like, I didn't know. I knew it's funny because I knew that I didn't see no representation, but I didn't know that I was going to end up like a representation to others. And it's something that I had
Mm-hmm.
wrote about in my personal statement when I was when they got me accepted into grad school was like being a representation to others and wanting to be that for other people that look like me that
Mm-hmm.
want to pursue forensics. And so it was just so funny how it all ended up working out because that was literally within my first 2 months of grad school. Like by October, that video had at least like 2 million views. And now it's at like
Oh, it was
5
going
million.
up. It's
And
going
yes, and I
up.
was like, wow. Like I was shocked. I remember calling mom like, Mama, I just hit 10K on TikTok. Like fault like that. It wasn't just people just like liking and commenting. They're sharing it, they're following, they're like, it was in so much engagement that I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm about to like y'all want content? I got y'all. And not only
Right?
that, but like it kept me motivated. There were times where I was like, oh, do I really like this is a lot of work, y'all. But at the same time, it was like it's a rewarding feeling, especially once people started like recognizing me on campus. Like I'm sitting in Chick-fil-A's line and somebody comes up and is like, I just want to tell you, like, I see your videos on TikTok. And I'm like, what? Or people like coming up to me and asking me for advice on forensics. Or I was in Raising Cane's drive through and somebody's like, oh, yes. Bonnet on and off.
Just trying to get some chicken tenders and
Bonnet
go on
on. And
my
I just
way.
wanted my kids' meal. And she's like, oh my gosh, I got an internship. And it was the internship that I had done previously at HFSC. She was like, I just got an internship there. You really inspired me to apply there. And I was like, that's like a full circle moment for me. So,
Absolutely. I can only imagine it is. I mean, it's so great when people come in. A lot of times it's so hard to really stay motivated when you're in these
mm-hmm.
fields because you have so much work up
Yeah.
past your
Yes.
head like up to the sky
Yes.
work. And sometimes it's good to get those other people knowing that it's more than just you out here doing this. Like
Yeah.
they get inspired and you're not alone. It's good to know
Yes.
you're not alone. So one
It
thing
is
about
great.
TikTok, I love how it's bringing this sense of community for everybody right
Yes.
now. So with all of that, I know you create content. Creating content is a job, okay? It
It's
is a job.
it is.
But so how did you like during grad school, how did you balance that especially now too with getting ready to have professional responsibilities? How
Yeah.
what are your plans with that and how did you balance that previously?
So previously in grad school, what I did was I started to kind of incorporate TikTok with what I was like everyday life. So whether that's I'm retwisting my hair, I'm on live and I'm answering questions. That's one thing that I do. Like that's an easy way for people because it's an easy, quick way for me to engage with y'all and answer y'all's questions in real time versus like y'all all trying to like DM me and I'm and I'm not able to respond to everybody. But it's easy to sit there and like verbally say it for you real quick without having to sit, make a video, stop the video, start over. And so that was one thing I did was I incorporated it with everything. Like I have regular music playing in the background. I'm retwisting my hair and I'm just talking. That's one way. Not only that, but I started to do Forensic Fridays. So these were minute long videos or 60 seconds or longer videos where I'm explaining concepts. I'm explaining different disciplines of forensic science, misconceptions of forensic science, anything that's like, you know, people always ask me, but like it takes a little bit longer to answer because, of course, you do those short videos that get engagement so people know you do forensics. But to actually inform people, I started to like set down the time where, okay, Fridays, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to make a video, I'm going to post a video. This gives them more like an easily accessible, like, here's some quick information. And in the comments or or in the caption, I can put like a website link or in the video, I can put that. So that's another way. I actually made like a Forensic Friday playlist on my TikTok. So when people ask questions in the comments, they're like, do you have any tips, advice? Here's a whole playlist where like, so you're not sitting there waiting on me to respond. I'd be like, I have a whole playlist that it might answer some of your questions. So between that and then kind of just like, I know I don't have no storage on my phone anymore.
No, for real. It's like now I gotta go back, delete these videos and
Yes.
make some space.
I don't have nobody's storage right now, but definitely to balance both, I feel like I had to make time for it. When I came to like doing day in the lives, uh, people in my class they already like know that I record that I they everybody knew that I had TikTok by the second week because I'm sitting in the class doing the trends because just out of habit like and
No
so
ATL. That's the new
no
one. Huh?
okay I'd be in class doing this one. I can't remember what this was from, but I know
Me neither.
I don't remember it anymore. But I know I would be sitting in class. They'd be like, Keshonna, what are you doing?
Was
But
it
like,
the? I think it was. I understood the assignment or something. Is that what it
I
was?
don't
I
know
can't remember.
anymore. I don't even remember
It's too
anymore.
many.
They come and they go and they still be stuck in my head or the dance still be stuck in my head. I'd be like, I don't know what that's from, but I'm doing it. So definitely just trying to definitely just like bringing both of them together though and making time for it was probably the thing. But as for doing it in the future with my job and everything, I have to be careful on how I do it because sometimes it's like you never know. Like some stuff, you know, first of all, one in a state building, you're not even supposed to have TikTok on your phone. So I can't have it on there while I'm at work, but I can always come home and I can re-download it that way and make videos that way. So I'm planning to just space out my time with when I can do it. At night, I still, if I see a trend, I'm gonna go ahead and do it while I'm sitting there, or else I'm gonna forget. You forget quickly. Trends come and go. So
I had
between
to
that,
catch that holy air ball on
yeah,
one. Holy
I
air ball. I don't know
I
what
had
that
to catch
means,
it.
but holy air ball.
And I was sitting there and I was swiping through. So I said, let me make this right now while I'm sitting here.
You
Like as you
have
see it,
to.
if it comes to your head, do it. Like just go ahead and do it because you're gonna sit, you're gonna wait a week, you're gonna miss the trend. It's gonna be another one, and you could have just had 100,000 people see that one. So
Yes, you gotta hit the trends. That's what I'm learning too. And
yes,
I'm anybody watching, this is a good chance to learn some tips. Everybody trying to learn how to go viral on TikTok right
yes,
now. But I say the biggest thing, like what you're doing, like what we're both doing, is being real. Just be yourself
yes,
online. Like
100%,
as long as you're yourself, people will your tribe will gravitate to
a
you. The
hundred
people
percent.
that you need to interact with will gravitate to you. So somehow the what is it called? The World Wide Web
The
brought
World
us
Wide
together.
Web.
So
Yes.
yeah, so what are your future goals and aspirations with your career in forensics? I mean, a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know what to do, so what's for you?
So right now I'm currently a crime lab technician, which is kind of like an entry to get into the lab until a forensic analyst position opens up. Which the if you don't know, the technician is kind of like the person that helps make reagents. You're basically like assisting the analyst in any way in the lab. And an analyst is the person that's going to actually like test the evidence and have to go to trial. Like those are the ones that actually testify in court. So right now I'm just a technician, but I want to make that change, that switch over when there is a position open to be an analyst. And so that's step number one. That's my mode. That's my first and foremost. And I'm the siege drug discipline of forensic science. So that's thing number one. And two, later in life, I know that I do want a PhD. I know I want a doctorate at some point. And
Okay.
yes.
Future doctor.
Okay. And I want to eventually, I think I want to be a professor. It's funny because when I was younger, I always said that I wanted to be a teacher, which is kind of funny because now it's like I'm teaching people online. So it's like the world, everything happens, everything happens for a reason. And it's funny how
Hmm.
you would think like when you're younger, you're like, oh, to be a teacher is just math, science, language arts. Like you think just like what you know at the time. And you don't even realize like you can go learn a whole field and be a professor. Like you can go take your knowledge, take your experience, and go be a professor. And I think that's why even now, like, yes, I could have just went straight and got my doctorate and like just applied for the PhD program. But I feel like a part of me wants like the actual experience. I want to be that professor that can actually tell stories about cases that I've had or tell
Hmm.
stories of like these are some of the things that I've seen, and I want to like translate that into the like actually bring that to the classroom at some point. So
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great perspective to have. I mean, so I think like transitioning into the teaching aspect is great. I mean, I'm
mm-hmm.
excited to get a chance to do some teaching, so I'll be able to let you know how that turns out.
Okay.
But you know, like you said, gaining that experience before you get into is good because
Yeah.
it helps make give you that competitive edge, and
Mm-hmm.
also, you get a chance to take a little break, a mind
Yeah.
break a little bit. School is not easy, and a
School's not
PhD is
easy.
definitely not
It's
easy.
not. Even seeing how
It's
the PhD students were while I was in getting my master's, it's like, wow. I don't know. It's like it's funny seeing like we had our fourth year PhD student, and it's like it feels like she has so much more time in her day, the stuff that she has to get done, or like with everything that she had to do in like balancing not only our projects but her projects. It's like I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did it, and it's crazy because it's like, dang, she was in my footsteps at some point, and just seeing like, wow, it's crazy, it's crazy.
look, enjoy your life. The
Yes,
PhD won't go anywhere, but you have a whole community of people that are out here rooting for you. So,
yes,
it's all nothing is in your way. You got this. So, what
absolutely.
advice would you give to students who are considering a similar path as you in your field?
Let's see. So, first and foremost, I would say know that you don't have to pick a discipline right away. Have an idea of knowing, like, be aware that there are different disciplines of forensic science. So crime scene investigation, forensic toxicology, like the forensic chemistry side, and then like the forensic biology side. But there's also like the comparative sciences, like latent prints. Just be aware that there are so many different disciplines of forensic science, but no, you don't have to have it decided the second that you go to college. You don't have to have it decided the second that you get into grad school, but have an idea. There's been people, I would say, one thing I would say though is get a degree in a natural science. When it comes to forensic science, science is in the name. You want that natural science degree. You don't want, unless you're like interested in crime scene investigation and you know you only want to do crime scene investigation, then you could get away with like a criminal justice degree. But if you're thinking biology, chemistry, like biochemistry, um anything like that, a natural science degree, that's that's gonna get you in there. That's what everybody's looking for. Like, because they have that gives you those are gonna give you fundamental lab skills that you need. If you get the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity, do an internship, whether this is freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, at any point, do an internship. I would prefer a summer one. Sometimes they do have where you can do like spring semester or fall semester, depending on the agency. But and when you're there, talk to people. Ask about
Mm-hmm.
their experiences. Ask about how they like where they're at. Usually an analyst is so open to they was in your footsteps at one point. Is all I'm gonna say is everybody that's there, they've been where you're at some point. Some of them have. I just talked to somebody at my job and she's known she wanted she got a degree in chemistry and I think both of her parents had like at least some interest or some background in forensics. So like
Mm-hmm.
that's good for her. But like not everybody has that. But like just talk, she's like she had that degree in chemistry and she knew she lived in Texas. She was like, so it's oil and gas or forensics. And so, and not only that, but when you're doing it, if you can, when you're doing an internship or grad school, try to do it in the state that you know you want to live in.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're gonna not only when you're in grad school, you're gonna learn their laws, what they have, like it's gonna help you in the long run. And a lot of times, if you can do grad school, do it. I would 100% recommend grad school. Like people always say, but I don't need a master's degree to get. You don't. But right now, not only can that make you more competitive, not only at some agencies can it get you more money, but in the long run, not only are you getting a more in-depth knowledge of forensics, but um you're making connections. Like you get to go to usually you get to go to a conference, you get to do research. It opens up the doors and you start to see a lot more about the forensics world than you would get with just that bachelor's degree. So no, you don't need that master's degree, but 10 times out of 10, I feel like that helped me in so many ways that I didn't even recognize or I didn't know it was going to help me.
Absolutely. Masters will definitely help you because speaking from experience, I went from undergrad straight to PhD and I was so lost. I'm like, I have no clue what I'm doing. This is hard. I don't know what's going on. And yes, the summer internships are great. I mean,
Yes.
for one, most of them, I don't know about forensics, but mainly in STEM, especially if you're chemistry or something like that, they're
Mm-hmm.
paid. Like they pay you to
Usually
come.
forensics, not too much. We're not. It was an unpaid
Really?
internship. Yeah, it was an
Okay.
unpaid internship, but there are some that are paid. That you have to fight for them, but there are some that are out there, and it may require that you move. But usually, like not to stay, it might not be paid. But I will say I did do an intern. Oh, that's one thing that I will say though. Like in undergrad, I didn't do an internship at a forensics agency. I did mine at a petrochemical company. So
Mhm.
with me having that bachelor's degree in chemistry and doing that, know that even just getting any internship experience in any lab is going to give you skills that somebody who didn't do an internship at all won't have, like may not have. They 9 times out of 10 use the same instrumentation that we use, and just having working knowledge of any of that is going to help you in the long run than just saying, oh, I couldn't find an internship in forensics, so I'm just not going to do one. No, do an internship in something and learn how to relate those skills to what you want to do in forensics.
Absolutely. You cannot just sit there and say, hey, just because it's not in my specialty, I'm not gonna get
Yes.
any experience at all because
Yeah.
now the game is changing. They only care, well,
Yeah.
mostly care about experience. So even for the forensic folks, if it's getting tough with, the different places,
Yeah.
especially those, what'd you say, oil and gas,
Yeah.
if even if they don't have anything open,
And
get
9 times out of
into
10, that oil and gas one is probably paid.
yeah,
If you're super worried about it, I was getting paid $18 an hour and I was just an intern.
I know
So
that's right.
yeah,
And even like if you want to do something in just chemistry, like you're a chemistry major and
yeah.
you're gonna take like a chemistry, biomedical engineering or chemistry internship, do what you gotta do,
Do what
okay?
you have to do because 9 times out of 10, when you're applying to grad school or anything like that, and you can talk about those experiences with that instrumentation, they're gonna be like, oh, so she can learn that. She can like it's gonna help you in the long run, even if it's not in your field.
Transferable skills, y'all.
Yes.
So, all together, the last thing I want to ask you is how can our listeners and future scholars connect with you?
Yes. So first and foremost, we have TikTok. It's at Keshonna Towns, KESHONNATOWNS. And then on Instagram, it's Keshonna with 3 underscores. So those are 2 ways that you can reach me. If 9 times out of 10, if you DM me, I might not see it. I look sometimes, but if you comment on the video and you ask a question or you go to that Forensic Friday playlist, there's a lot of good stuff in there. If Even if you see a video that I might not have exactly answered your question, if you comment underneath the video, I'm more likely to reply there than if I have a lot of DMs to look at.
Right. So don't go sliding in those DMs too much now.
But definitely feel free to leave comments, questions, anything like that, and I'll answer them. And if there's a video that a topic that I haven't made a video on, please comment it. I will 100% make a video for y'all. I do not mind.
He really will, y'all. Thank you all so much for tuning in to this powerful conversation with Keshonna. Her journey reminds us that science isn't just about facts and formulas. It's about representation, it's about visibility and creating space for future generations. If you were inspired by her story, don't forget to follow Keshonna on TikTok and connect with her work. Learn more about forensics because education can be empowering and entertaining, as she shows us. If you're a student or aspiring scientist wondering where you fit in, remember STEM world needs you just as you are. Stay curious, stay determined, and as always, stay STEM inspired. Until next time, everyone.